Hello students, welcome to Scholars Universal School online class. English Grammar Lesson 3, Verbs. Just as you know already that verb is one of the parts of speech in English. Not just one of the parts of speech, but an essential part of speech that is indispensable. What do I mean by that? It cannot be replaced in a sentence by anything or any element to serve the same purpose or its purpose. So, verb is considered to be very significant to sentence construction. Now, what is a verb? Before I move on, I would like to remind you that prior to this time, you must have learned or must have been taught that verbs are words that show an action, basically, right? But there is more to verbs showing action. There is more to verbs showing action alone or basically. From this presentation, you will learn how verbs can function outside of being or showing action of a subject. So that takes us to the definition of verb, as you can see on the screen now. Verbs are words that show an action, state of being, or possession. Verbs are words that show an action, note, state of being, also note that, or possession, and note that as well. So, verbs does not basically show action. That is, it does not show when somebody writes, oh, he writes, he sings. These are actions, right? Good. It also shows state of being. He is a boy. She is reading, right? And also possession. He has a ball. He has a pen. They have pens. Alright, let's move on. Almost every sentence requires a verb. Look at that. Almost every sentence requires, highlighted, requires. Almost every sentence requires a verb. So, it is important that you include a verb, or that a sentence is inclusive of a verb to make meaning or to make sense. The basic form of a verb is known as its infinitive. So the infinitive form, which is the base form of a verb, is that base of that form of a verb that has not been inflected by either s, ed, or ing. That is, such verb is in its basic or base form. Examples are call, love, break, go, read, write. You can see that these verbs are do not have s, do not have ed, do not have ing, right? So any verb that is without the its s form, without its ed form, or the changing of its vowel letter, that is when we have the past participle, the past participle, okay. Now form, so that is when it is in its what, in its infinitive form. So we can go on and on to, you know, to give examples of verbs in their what, in their infinitive form. You can have write, dance, sleep, eat, climb, shop, chop, and so on. Now, assignment 1, write 20 verbs in their infinitive form. You know what this means? Write 20 verbs in their infinitive form. That is, just highlight 20 verbs without the s form, without the ed form or the past participle form, without the ing form. So the base form. Make sure you don't give examples as given here. Make sure your examples do not fall in this category. Okay. Now, a verb tells us what? Verbs basically, like are given in the definition of verbs, that it shows an action, state of being, or possession. Now, what does a verb tell us? What does the verb tell us? It tells us what a person or thing does. Yes, it tells us what a person or thing does. In that sense, it is telling us, or it tells us what somebody does regularly, present, regularly, what he or she does on a daily basis. Now, examples are Bukola writes. Bukola writes. Now, we can as well have this example in its plural form, because Bukola writes is in its present singular form. Write. This highlighted verb is in its what? In its present singular form. Present singular form. Now, to change that to its present plural form, we can say they write. Or did I say they write? You can see that the example they write is without an s. Is without what? Is without an s. So they write, or Ade and Bukola writes. So we can as well have this example as this: Bukola writes daily. Bukola writes daily, or Bukola writes regularly. And we can as well have Ade and Bukola write. Did you notice the s? No, it's not there. Ade and Bukola write daily. So that's an example of what? Of present plural verb. So what a person or thing does. Now, another example is the sun rises. This is what the sun does every day. The sun rises every day, and the sun sets every day. You can have it like that. The sun rises and sets every day, or the sun rises every day, or the sun sets every day. So it's what it does, every day. Now the sun is singular, then the verb rises is also what? A singular verb. That is why they are compatible. So such sentence now is correct. Is that clear? Good. Now we can as well have what is done to a person or thing. That is, a verb can tell us what is done to a person or thing. What is done to a person or thing. So now, is punished. Is punished. Is punished. So such thing is being done to a person presently. Is punished. Is punished. The papers are spoiled. Now let's go back to is punished. You can see that he is a primary auxiliary verb and it is in its present form. Is in its what? In its present form, and that tells us that the action is in its present form as well. Is that clear? Now we have our main auxiliary verb here, which is punished. Which is punished. So punished is in its past form, so which then tells us that the action is done to is being done. Yes, it's been done. It's been done. Is punished. Is punished. So to have such expression, we are going to have the combination of what? Of present singular, or we can have present plural auxiliary verb plus what? Plus past form of a main verb. Past form of a main verb. All right. Now the next example, the papers are spoiled. The papers are spoiled. Now, so we have a primary auxiliary verb, and we have our main auxiliary verb here as spoiled. As spoiled. As spoiled. Our main auxiliary here as spoiled. Okay, now let's move on. Now, a verb also tells us what a person or thing is. What a person or thing is, or it tells us about a state of being or existence. Remember our definition of verb? That is, it shows action, fight, dance, sings, eats. Now, it also shows a state of being of a subject. Yes. So everything we're talking about verb still goes back to what? To identifying with the subject. With the subject. Okay. Now, example: she is a teacher. She is a teacher. Now, you would see in this example that we are having, I'm having now highlighted the primary auxiliary verb now, which is showing or telling us about the state of being of our subject. of our subject, which is she. Our subject is she, right? Our subject is she. Our subject is she, and our subject is she. Good. Now, she is what? A teacher. So now is telling us about a state of being of what? Of our subject, which is she, as highlighted in red. Now the next example is they are in the house. They are in the house. You can see. And now what is our verb there? What is our verb? Our verb there is which is what? A primary auxiliary verb. It is a primary auxiliary verb. Now, it may tell us about possession. Remember, action, state of being, or possession. Now, it may tell us about possession. Examples are, she has blue eyes. She has what? She has blue eyes. Now, what is our verb here? Our verb here is has. Our verb is has. And remember, our verb as is a present singular verb. Present singular verb. Now, the next example, I have good memory. I have good memory. I have good memory. Now, our verb here is a primary auxiliary verb, which is what? Which is a present plural verb. Present plural verb. Present plural verb. I have good memory, not I has. Is that clear? So don't get the I here confused. So anytime you have I, it usually goes with a plural verb. I usually goes with plural verb. So that is why we can have I have, not I has. I have good memory. Good. I hope that is well understood. Now, assignment 2. Write 2 examples each on what a verb tells us. Good. Now, looking at what a verb tells us, you can see how I was able to whittle that down, that is, explain in details with examples. Now, your assignment now, or your work, your job now, let me put it that way, your job now is to study that and give examples. Give examples in that line. Give examples in that line. 2 each. 2 examples each. 2 examples each. That is, tells us, about a person, about an action, about possession, and about the state of being of a thing or of a person, as given in the previous slide. Now, verb forms. Verb forms. English verbs may have different forms. Yes, Number one, depending on the subject of the verb. Depending on the subject of the verb, singular or plural. Verbs basically work with the subject. Yes, and the main reason why this online lesson started with nouns. So that is to tell you that you need to understand your nouns very well. You need to be able to identify when a noun is singular and when a noun is plural. You need to be able to identify when a noun is in the position of a subject or in the position of an object. So what verbs basically do with is noun in the object and the subject position, in the subject position. Now, number two, depending on when, that is the time, the action expressed by the verb takes place, present or past. Now, the second thing or forms that verbs consider is the time an action takes place, or the time the subject performs an action. The time the subject performs an action. That is, it could be present, it could be past, and even it could be future. Yes, it could be future. So we're going to look at these forms critically in the next slides. In the following sentences, the subject of the verbs indicate who or what is performing the actions expressed by the verbs. Who or what is performing the actions expressed by the verbs. Now, who or what is performing the action is known as the subject, right? And you can identify with the subject either by it being a noun or a pronoun. So examples that we have here are indicative of pronoun, right? Good. Now, we is a plural pronoun. We is a plural pronoun. You can see I'm trying to highlight. I'm trying to highlight. We is a plural pronoun. We here is a what? Is a plural pronoun. We. Good. We live in the city. We live in the city. Now look at it. I've highlighted the verb in red, right? In red ink, and I've underlined it as well. We live in the city. Live is a plural verb. Is that clear? Live is a plural. Now look at it. There's a correlation between the subject which is a pronoun now, which is also a plural subject, with the verb live, which is what? A plural verb. We live in the city, not we lives. Exactly, not we lives. It is what? We live in the city. Now let's break it down. It is, let's use your family as an example. Mom, dad, my siblings and I live in the city. Mom, dad, my siblings and I live in the city. Can you see that? You can see that you are many, not just one. Not just my dad, right? If it were to be my dad, it would be my dad lives. Is that clear? My dad lives in the city. If it were to be your mom, it would be my mom lives in the city. Good. So we live in the city. Mom, dad, my siblings and I live in the city. Is that clear? Good. Example B, which is the second example. It lives in the city. It lives in the city. Now, he is a singular pronoun. The singular what? Pronoun. You can see I'm trying to highlight E in yellow ink, right? Good. It lives in the city. So it is singular. Lives is what? Is a verb, and it's a singular verb. So take note of this. Take notice of this. Any verb that has s at the end of it is a singular verb. Is that clear? Is that clear? Any verb that has s at the end of it is what? Is a singular verb. Good. Now let's move on. These examples illustrated how the form of verbs may vary. Yes, that is, the previous examples, or the examples from the previous slide illustrated how the form of verbs may vary depending on the subject of the verb. Yes, depending on the subject of. Now, like I said earlier, that what determines the form of verb is the subject. What determines the form of verb is the subject. Now let's go further into the explanation. Now, in the first example, the subject is we, right? Are you with me? Good. And the form of the verb is live. Can you see? In the second example, the subject is he, and the form of the verb is lives. I hope you can see that as well. I think I've explained that in details. Good. We here is a what? Plural subject. Plural what? Subject. And it's a what? It's a pronoun, right? Plural pronoun, and it's a plural subject. Good. Live here is a what? Is a plural verb. So that's to tell you that plural verb goes with plural subjects. Interesting. Now the second example. E. E is a what? The singular subject. From what? From the pronoun, right? It's a pronoun. Good. Good. Now, the singular pronoun. Now, the verb here, lives, is what? It's a singular verb. You know, it's with s, right? Remember? Verbs with s are what? Are singular. Good. Now, a singular subject attracts what? Attracts a singular verb. A singular subject attracts a singular verb. Take that. Take notice of that. Commit that to act. Alright. The different forms which indicate when the action expressed by the verb takes place are usually referred to as tenses. Yes. The different verb forms which indicate when the action expressed by the verb takes place are usually referred to as tenses. Remember, when I explained the forms of verb, I talked about the subject determining the form of the verb, whether it is what? It is singular or plural. And also remember the second form, which talks about what? Which talks about time. The time and a subject performs an action. Good. That's where we have what? The tenses now. So the tenses is another form of what? Of the verb. The tenses. Is it present tense? Is it past tense? Good. Now, examples. Now, we always walk to school. We always walk to school. Now, walk here is not peculiar to the subject form, right? It's not peculiar to the subject form. Rather, it is talking about the time the action takes place, or the action is done or performed. Now, we always walk to school. That is to tell you that it is in the present form, right? So that means we can also have an example, or examples such as I walk to school. I walk to school. Or we walk to school, or we walk to work. So now, to have it, now walk, now walk is a plural verb, right? So that's we haven't I've explained that. We is a plural subject, so we always walk to school. Now let's change this way to singular subject. So we can have he always walks to school. 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 Is that clear? Now, we always walk to school. He always walks to school. You can see the S? Good. Now, that is in the present form now. That is in the what? The present form. That is in the present form. Now, good. Now, the other example, the past form is we walked to work yesterday. You can say that it is in the past, right? It is in the past. So we walked to work yesterday. We walked to work yesterday. So now let's try to change it to the singular subject. Let's see if the verb will change, like it's changed the previous examples. Okay, now he walked to work yesterday. Now, it's in the past, right? Good. It did not change, right? The verb worked did not change, even when it is a plural subject. Also, it did not change, even when it is what? It is a singular subject. So, he went to school yesterday. He went to work yesterday. Now, in the sentence, in the first sentence, now, the verb work, as highlighted, is in the simple present tense, right? It's in the what? Simple present tense. In the second sentence, the verb worked it's in the what? It's in the simple past tense. It's in the simple what? Simple past tense. Highlighted, worked. Good. Now, present tense are usually used to express actions which are taking place in the present. Now, this table 1.0 shows, a tabulated form of singular verb and what? And plural verbs. A tabulated form of singular verbs and plural verbs. Now, the first example is goes, and I've used that as an example for you, to guide you. Now, Bimbo goes to school every day. So Bimbo is what? A singular what? A singular subject, right? A singular noun and a singular subject. Good. Bimbo goes to school every day. Now, the plural verb go, then we have what? The example as thus: the students go to school every day. Right? The students go to school every day. Now, we have other examples which I have not, used as, given, sentence examples of them. Drives, drive. Sings, sing. Shouts, shout. Climbs, climb. Writes, write. Cries, cry. Screams, scream. Washes, and wash. Good. Now, let's move to the next. Now, example 3. Use the verbs in table 1.0 to construct correct sentences in the present form. So, what are you to do? You are to what? You are to use, for your example, for your assignment now. For your assignment, you are to construct sentences using what? Using each of these what? Verbs as indicated in the present form. Good. Now, types of verb in English with example. Types of verb in English with example. Now, you can see this diagram shows the types of verb that we have in English, and which for this class we are going to what? We are going to look into carefully for proper understanding. Now, we have finite verb, non-finite verb, we have action verb, we have helping verb, we have linking verb, we have regular, and we have irregular verb. Good. Now, let's move to the next. So we are starting with finite verbs. Good. What are finite verbs? What are finite verbs? Finite verbs are such kinds of verbs that have a definite relation with the subject or noun. What does that mean? That is, such verbs are influenced. Such verbs are influenced by the subject. That is, if the subject is singular, such finite verb will what? Will change its form to a what? To a singular verb or form. If the subject is plural, such verb will change its form to what? To a plural form. Is that clear? So now, finite verbs are verbs that are influenced by the subject, that have a definite relation with the subject or noun. Usually, these verbs are the main verb of a clause or sentence and can be changed according to the noun. Good. So, what can change them is the noun. The noun can change them anytime. If the noun changes, the verb changes. If the noun changes, the verb changes. Right? Good. They are used only in the present and past tense. They are used only on the present and past tense. They are used only in the present and past tense. They can be indicative of number. They can be what? They can be indicative of number. So, if the verb is singular, if the noun is singular, the verb is singular. If the noun is plural, the verb turns to what? Turns to plural. Good. Now, to the next. Now, finite examples, finite verb examples. He attends his class regularly. He attends his class regularly. Now, what is the subject? The subject is he. And what's our verb? Our verb is attend. So, attend is an example of what? Of a finite verb, because it's what? It's has a relation with the what? With the subject he, because he is what? He is singular. Attend is what? Is singular. Now, to the next. They attend the class regularly. They attend the class regularly. They attend the class regularly. Now, attend is what? Attend is a finite verb because it is affected or influenced by what? By the subject. By the subject they. By the subject they. By the subject they. It is affected by the subject they. Okay, now move on. They attended the class regularly. Remember, we told you that it can be influenced by the what? By present or past tense. Yes. Now, so now attended is what? Is a finite verb. Why? Because it is a main what? A main verb in the sentence. They attended the class regularly. They attended the class regularly. So finite verbs actually what? Function as the main verb in a sentence. whether it comes as present singular, present plural, or past tense. So we can have it here, change of tense. So good. Now to the next. Now non-finite verbs. Now you remember that our finite verb tends to change according to the verb form. According to the subject form or subject form, that is person or number. Person or number. Now, what about non-finite verb? Such types of verbs cannot be the main verb of a clause or sentence, as they do not talk about the action that is being performed by the subject or noun. Look at that. Non-finite verbs cannot and do not talk about the action that is being performed by the subject or noun, and they do not indicate any tense, mood, or gender. That is, they do not function as a past tense, of a verb in an expression, or they do not show the mood or the number or gender of the subject. Now we can also use these verbs as nouns, adverbs and adjectives. We can also use these nouns as adverbs, as these verbs as nouns, adverbs and adjectives. These types of verbs are also used to form non-finite clauses, which are simply dependent clauses that use non-finite verbs. Now, examples of non-finite verbs. Now, you would see that from these examples, you would see that the use of non-finite verbs seems to be, irrelevant to, to defining what verb is actually, because it is not showing action. It is not showing. It is not showing the state of being, or it is not showing what possession. Now, example: he invited his friends to like his post on Facebook. Now look at the highlighted words. To like. To like. Now this is called a to infinitive. So when we get there, you shall know better. Now, he invited his friends to like his post on Facebook. So a non-finite verb is to like. They invited. You can see now. Look at it. To. I want to pay attention to like. In all of these examples, I'm going to read to your hearing and that you are seeing on the screen now. He invited his friends to like his post on Facebook. Now, to like is not affecting he. To like is not affecting he in any way. It's not showing whether he is singular or plural. Right? Good. Let's move on. They invited their friends to like their post on Facebook. Now, to like is not affecting they. Is it? Is it? No. So what is affecting he and they is invited, and this is our our finite verb. So although let's continue with our non-finite verbs. Now to like. So it's functioning as as a non-finite verb, because it is not telling us about the subject, and it is not in any way related to the subject in terms of number or tense. Now, in the above sentences, the verb to like is not affected by the change in tense and number. So it is a non-finite form of the verb. Good. Now, more examples for non-finite verb. He loves camping in the wood. He loves camping in the woods. Now, the first thing you ask yourself is camping. Can we have a camping in the woods? Can we have that? Such expression. A camping in the wood? No. That's to tell us that non-finite verb cannot function as a finite verb or as a main verb. Yes, cannot function as a main verb in an expression, in a sentence. Good. Now, but you can see it laughs. Laughs here is what is the main verb. While camping is what is functioning as a noun. So it's functioning as what? As an adjective now. Adjective. Good. Now here the noun. Yes, it's a noun. Yes. Here the non-finite verb is camping, and it is used as a noun. And it is used what? As a noun. Now camping is a noun here. He loves camping. He loves what? Camping. Okay. Now these kinds of non-finite verbs are called gerunds. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. Here the non-finite verb phrase is to sleep. To sleep is a non-finite verb there. To sleep. It is acting as a noun. I need to sleep. Like you say, I need water. I need, I need fresh breeze. I need food. So the same way you're having, I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to eat, I need to dance. So to dance, to sleep, to eat are all what? Are all non-finite verbs. It is acting as a noun. Non-finite verbs that use to before they are called that use to before it are called, look at non-finite verbs that use to before them are called infinitives or to infinitives. To infinitives. Good. So now the sleeping dog caused a delay. The sleeping dog caused a delay. Here the non-finite verb has ing form and is acting as an adjective. The sleeping dog caused a delay. Now sleeping is supposed to be a verb, right? But it is a verb, right? Good. But is it functioning as a verb in this expression? Is it? No. The sleeping dog, it's functioning as what? As an adjective in a what? In a noun phrase. A noun phrase. The sleeping dog. The sleeping dog did what? Caused. So what is our verb? Caused. This is our verb. Yeah. This is our verb here. Caused. So the sleeping dog caused a delay. Now sleeping is what? Is not our main verb here, and it is not functioning as what? As a finite verb. Because it is in itself part of what? Part of the subject. Which is what? The sleeping dog. Good. and is acting as what? As an adjective. The non-finite verbs that have ing or ed as suffixes and cause the verb to become an adjective are called participles. So every verb that has ing and ed and do not function as a verb in a sentence but rather function as adjective are called participles. Now, assignment. Write 10 examples of finite verbs and use each in a sentence. Clear? Write 10 examples of finite verbs and use each in a sentence. Write 10 examples of non-finite verbs and use each in a sentence. So I want to believe by now you know what finite verbs are, right? You know what finite verbs are, and you can write and give examples in sentence, and also examples of non-finite verbs and use them in sentences. So thank you for paying rapt attention. Follow us on Twitter at scholars_author. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Scholars Universal School, and visit our website www.scholarsuniversalschool.com, and can also call the numbers on the screen for inquiries. Thank you very much, and watch out for the next lesson on verbs.